How's it going, everybody? Today I want to introduce a new series on the channel called the Family Finance series. Personal finance is a topic that I'm very passionate about. We all know that money issues are one of the leading causes of divorce and family discord. A recent survey by Magnify showed that over 20% of divorcees cited money issues as the cause for their divorce. And of those 20%, over 30% said that overspending was the main cause. So it's very important to get your financial house in order. In this series, I plan to talk about topics such as saving money on household essentials, saving for college, optimizing your family's taxes, investing, paying down debt, credit card hacking, and many, many more. In this video, I'll share some facts about finance with you that may give you hope that you too can take control over your finances, change your family's financial future, and enjoy a more secure and fulfilled life. So join me on this journey. Let's get started. Alright everyone, before we start talking about the numbers, you may have noticed that I capitalized the FI in finance in the title of this video. In the personal finance world, FI means financial independence, and in this video I'll talk a little bit about what that actually means. Financial independence means having enough passive income that you can comfortably pay your regular expenses without having to rely on formal employment. Now, most of us hope to reach that by the time we retire so that we can actually comfortably retire. But a lot of people go through life without actually knowing what they need to save for retirement. So people either end up grossly overestimating the amount of money that they need. It seems like an impossible task and then they don't even bother starting. Or on the other hand, they may underestimate the amount that they need. They don't save enough and they end up not being able to retire the way that they plan. According to a GOBankingRates survey, almost half of Americans have $0 saved for retirement, with some common reasons being cited as I don't have enough money to save, I'm trying to focus on paying my regular bills, or I'm trying to pay down debt. The situation is not great and a lot of people are not saving money for a lot of reasons, but I do want to start off with some good news that will illustrate that you actually can save and reach your financial goals. So let's start by talking about compound interest. Some people may not know that the amount of money that they actually need to save is a lot less than their ultimate goal, and that is due to the effect of compound interest. Albert Einstein allegedly said, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." Now, a lot of fake quotes are attributed to Albert Einstein, but if he didn't say it, he should have said it. So what is compound interest? Well, your principal is the amount of money you initially invest. Interest is the money you make off of that. So let's say you put your principal in a high yield savings account and make about 2% interest. The money you get as interest itself will start to make interest, and that's compound interest. Now, when you're saving for a long-term goal, you generally do not want to be sticking that money into a savings account in your bank where the interest rate is very low. For long-term goals, you're investing money that you're not going to need for at least a few years, and so you can tolerate a little bit of a higher risk with the expectation of higher rewards. Overall, in your investing career, you're going to have to balance between risk and reward. And in general, the higher the risk you take, the higher reward that you can make. The average historical return from the stock market has been about 8% per year. So let's assume that you start with $0 today and you invest just $100 a month over the next 30 years. In that case, using a simple compound interest calculator, if we take a range of 6 to 8%, you will have at the end of 30 years between $95,000 and $136,000. If you keep it up for just 5 more years, you will have between $134,000 and $207,000. The actual amount you would have invested over 30 years would have only been $36,000, and over 35 years only $42,000. So you can really see the power of compound interest over time. And maybe currently you don't have $100. Maybe you can only save $50 or $25 a month. It doesn't matter. What's important is that you start now. Even these small sums over time can grow to very large amounts. And I'll leave a link in the description below to the compound interest calculator that I use, which is investor.gov. And you can put your own numbers in and play around with it, but start now. As the example I gave showed, over the last 5 years, about 30% of the savings were made from compound interest. And as you learn more, please don't beat yourself up about what you haven't done or the mistakes that you've made. I myself only learned about finances and started taking my finances seriously a couple of years ago. Yes, yesterday was a better day to start than today, but today is a better day to start than tomorrow. So how much money do you actually need to be financially independent? The basic rule of thumb is called the 4% rule, and it states that you need to save 25 times your annual expenses. This 4% rule comes from a study conducted at Trinity University about safe withdrawal rates from different stock market portfolios taking 30-year increments along the entire history of the stock market at that time. That study showed that if you could live off of 4% of your initial portfolio every year, you would have money left over 100% of the time. Now, there are nuances about this, and it could be argued different ways, and I'll go into more detail about that later in the series, but the 4% rule is a good place to start just to get your mind straight. And if you think about this fact a little, you'll realize how powerful lowering your expenses can be. Every dollar you reduce from your recurring spending means you have to save $25 less for your retirement. And this series is going to highlight that and show you some of the key ways that you can reduce your recurring spending. The Pareto Principle, more commonly known as the 80-20 rule, says that you can get 80% of the effect by doing just 20% of the effort if you focus on the right things. I'm not going to tell you that you can't eat out, you can't buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks, you can't go out with your friends, you can't donate to charity, you have to just live like a miser, because that's not what this channel is about. You don't have to do that to succeed. All you have to do is make the right decisions in the most impactful financial decisions of your life, such as buying a house, buying a car, going to college, and especially marrying the right person. So we'll dive into detail into all these topics during these series, and I'll share with you my experience as I grow and learn as well. So if you could use a crash course on financial literacy and how to reach your financial goals, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications to know when new videos come out. Please also drop me a comment below about what you think has been stopping you from fulfilling your full financial potential, what your financial goals are for your family, or just any topics that you're interested in learning about. Thank you all for joining me. Click that handsome face to subscribe and watch some more of my videos. See y'all next time.